All right, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. This is our Monday night, 7 p.m. Rev Share, and we're coming off a Thanksgiving holiday. So hopefully all you guys had a wonderful break, got to spend some time with family and give thanks for a lot of things I'm sure all of us can be thankful for. I know I sure can, but it's good to be back in the swing of things, guys. We got about a good 30-day run here, or if you're, some of you may run up till about the 22nd, 23rd. Some of you are going to run that week after. Because I'm telling you, even that week after Christmas, that 26th through the 31st, guys, there'll be a lot of people that might want to take action and get all set up right before January 1st. So definitely don't let that week just go by. It could be one you could take advantage of. But anyway, this is every Monday night at 7 p.m. And we got at least one new person on here. So obviously the goal of this Rev Share event on Monday nights is really for us to come to this meeting with phone calls you've had, Zooms you've had, lunches, one-on-ones, whatever it is, where you've tried to either set up a meeting or share the presentation, and you're coming to us with, you know what, guys, I had a call, or I had a Zoom, or I had a meeting, and this is kind of what took place, didn't quite go maybe the way I wanted to, and you kind of throw that idea out to us, and we can role play. We can kind of try to sharpen each other's saw. There's no right or wrong answer, I always like to say. And maybe we get 2 or 3 people to respond on how they would have handled that situation. Or maybe you had a good call or a Zoom and you're wondering, okay, what should I do next? Bounce it off of some of us. And again, the reason I say that, for you being new up here, Rob, there's right now 1, 2, 3, 4 of us on here that all have attracted more than 20 frontline agents, and all pretty much have a group of 200 or greater. So again, not that none of us have the answer, but there's enough experience here to where a lot of us can kind of bounce ideas back and forth. So I always like to say it's a great area to come and sharpen each other's saw. We can role play scenarios and that kind of thing. So with all that being said, Mr. Golden will be back next week. And I'm going to throw out what he just threw out to me. Some of you guys weren't on here yet. He came on and helped us get this thing set up. But he said next week he's going to talk about the 2 different type of ideal candidates that you would want to go after. And then he also said, no matter what kind of a week or a day you're having, he's going to go over something that can immediately fix it. And those are kind of two different things he's going to talk about next week and train on. And you guys have heard me say this before. I've been around Eric now off and on for over a decade. Definitely one of the most experienced people in business I've ever met. Everything the guy's ever done, he's literally turned to gold. He's been very, very successful. Real estate, prior to coming to EXP, the guy flipped about 350 rental properties in a 3-year time frame with a business partner. That in itself is mind-boggling if you break those numbers down to what they were doing on a monthly basis. But I say all that to go, he generally navigates this show on Monday night. He's gone for the night, but we have Mr. Experienced Tim Hollenden. We got Jeff Morrell, Kathy, and a plethora of you guys that have all been doing this for a while, so we can all share stuff back and forth. So with all that being said, let's kind of throw out right now any type of scenarios you guys may have had last week, either prior to Thanksgiving, or who knows, maybe you guys did something over Thanksgiving with someone, or even on Friday. But any questions or scenarios anybody wants to throw out and get some feedback on?
I can ask if I can.
Yes, ma'am, Slavana. Go ahead.
Thank you, John. Well, I'm meeting tomorrow an agent who is a premier agent with Zillow. We closed transaction with him about a year ago, never met, but communicating through the text and stuff. So he is very like Jay Nelson, personality. So he told me a couple times he won't be able to sit and review the presentation. He wants to meet, he wants to see my eyes, he wants me to pretty much present it to him. Then tomorrow, I offered lunch or coffee. He offered beer, so we're meeting for beer. So we'll see how it goes. But I just need to create a plan, because with such short, he's just like a bouncing bunny. He cannot sit still. So he's all about fun and things like that. So I will not be able to be. And of course he's about money. So I need pretty much, I think, create a relationship and just make sure that he's committed to review a presentation. Is that a good move, or shall I present it tomorrow and use my opportunity while we meet in a bar for the beer?
So you're meeting him in a bar. So this is the one I think you brought up last week, right? Where we kind of powwowing about this with Eric.
It's a different one.
Oh, it's a different one. So you got a couple of them in play. Well, I think I would go into it there to obviously go build rapport, build a relationship, but I would be prepared to go over the information. Do you feel semi-comfortable if you're in a bar or meeting for coffee or whatever, you need to be able to open up the PowerPoint and go through it, right? And you're not going to be able to play a video or do anything right there that would make someone feel uncomfortable. There's something I've always learned when you're presenting any kind of an idea to somebody. If they're uncomfortable, they're not moving forward. So you want to be comfortable. I'd definitely build rapport, how long he's been in real estate, find out all that kind of good stuff, what's important to him, what's been his challenges, what does he knows about EXP up to this point. And then just ask him, hey, we can go over some information now, or we can just kind of chat. You fill everything out, and you can always set up a meeting afterwards and set up a Zoom. And or if he's like, no, share with me now, share with me what you got. Would you feel comfortable going through a PowerPoint with him?
I never done it. Let's call it that way. So probably not ideal. Plus, I don't know how noisy would be surrounding area and things like that. How many people around will be and things like that. I'm not sure it's appropriate kind of like situation, a bar to talk about, PowerPoint presentation.
Okay. Let me go a different route, and then I'll call on some of these guys. Do you know kind of when you're walking into what kind of production he approximately does?
Great question. He always closing at least 3-4 transactions a month. So he's busy. He said when he will move, he knows 10 more agents will join with him. He is social butterfly. Everybody loves him.
So I think, and then I'll call on some of these guys, what I would do is I would go and just socialize, get to know him, find out about him himself, what makes him tick and so forth. And then if you guys start to talk real estate about EXP, personally, I think all I would do is tell stories. Tell stories,
Okay.
right? You've got my story, you got Jay's story, you got, any of the major players without even mentioning last names. You can just say, we got a guy that joined us out in California by the name of Brent. The guy was doing about 100 million a year when he looked at this idea, had been in the industry for 21 years, doing anywhere between 100 to 120 million, saw this idea within 3 weeks, brings his entire brokerage of 18 agents over. Today, the guy's now closing over $1 million or making over $1 million a month. You can go through Jeff's story, my story. We can talk offline, but you can grab yourself, I would 5 or 6 high-speed runners that have come over like him doing that 35 to 60 transactions a year, made the move over in what life looks like today.
So his objection is, of course, he is at 100% brokerage. So he told me many times that's hard for him to swallow. So I'm thinking, shall I talk about the difference, how much we make? Because we will get to that point, it will sound like weak without showing all the presentation. You're not trying to convince him.
When you share those stories, I'll let Jeff touch on his also. Remember, Jay Nelson came over from a 98.2, right? I know that Tim owned his own brokerage when he came over. Jeff came from a transaction fee only. Kathy came from a transaction fee only. So a lot of these folks they all came over here. Somebody, there you go, mute yourself out. So a lot of these folks that came over here today that are succeeding at a high level were at 100% brokers before they came over. So get several of those stories down. And Tim, Jeff, if any of you guys want to share what you might do in that kind of a scenario, please.
Well, first thing I would do is he's going to be 100% at EXP if he's doing 3 or 4 transactions a year. He's more than likely an icon. You'll have to drill down in those numbers and make sure of that, but you're just going to have to show him that, why are you making so little, because you're going to make over 100% at EXP. Back to his personality, and depending on the bar setting and all that, not every bar is alike. If you can get in a quiet booth in a corner, and you said he likes to have fun, and it's all about building a relationship with him tomorrow. But I know you would say something like this, and just was running through my mind when you were talking about this. And, I'm sorry, man, but, we've got a presentation. It's 30 to 40 minutes long. Are you okay with that? And to have some fun with him, and he's going to say no. And you're going to say, oh, good. Because really, I've just got a 9-minute video I'm going to play. Let's watch this, and then let's talk about it.
Okay, I like
if you can get in that quiet of a setting in a bar environment, I think that would play well. He's going to get a lot of data in a short amount of time. His personality is like feed me fast anyway. I think that could go well. But if you don't have that opportunity, I would just get to know the guy and,
Yes.
you know, just assure him that, 30, 45 minutes with someone else in your organization is
Mhm.
time well spent. And we're not going to
That's
bore him.
what I
You
was
promise
thinking.
him it's going to be worth his while and, just kind of go down that path. Just have some fun
Yeah.
with it.
Thank you. That's what I was thinking. Okay, so I will assess the situation if Bar even gives me opportunity to turn on that 9 minutes video, and I really appreciate how you said it. Presentation. Okay, so they're trying to put him on 9 minutes. I think he will tell me no about 9
Yeah.
minutes.
And you want him to. You want him to say no to the 30-minute presentation. Say, good, I wasn't going to do that anyway, because I know your personality couldn't stand that. Here's a quick 9-minute video. Let's watch it and then chit chat for a few minutes.
Okay, which 9 minute do you recommend? I'm sorry I didn't use it. I will really appreciate the link if somebody has it handy.
And Svetlana, something else I would have prepared, I'm sure you do on your laptop. I would have that rev share calculator. If he's a high
Yep,
speed
I
runner.
do. Mhm,
Okay,
Yep.
that's, if you go through that, the way Tim has kind of taught, get him to fill in the numbers for you, right? From the
Yeah.
very top all the way down and have him fill it out and then always go back and be a little bit more conservative. When you show him that bottom number, that should be shocking. I can tell you, Eric's not on here. That's what turned Eric's head to begin with. And when I first met with Eric, that was the very first thing I showed from a very high level. And I can tell, even though he played his cool card, that had his head spinning. Next thing I know, we're doing the presentation a couple days later. So high speed.
I like that idea. I like that idea. I am not yet comfortable to do the brokerage comparison. I need to practice at home. but I will do calculator and then I will see if asking presentation, if presentation no, then maybe 9 minutes, and then again building reassurance and commitment for him to come and to see full presentation.
Yeah.
That would be my
And
scenario.
have
Thank
to,
you so much.
If he shows any interest, which I think he will, if you're able to sit down with, show the 9 minute and do that rev share calculator, then tell him you'd be more than happy to get him on the phone with people that are making 30, 40, 50, even 100,000 a month. And tell him you're more than happy to set up a Zoom and you could start to pull different ones of us on there for just a quick 5 or 10 minute testimony even.
And
Okay.
anyone by chance will be available for just a phone conversation in Arizona time, 2 p.m. to 30, just by chance.
So Arizona, are they right now 2 hours earlier?
We are right now 6 p.m., 6:15.
Okay.
And you are guys standard time, so you are 7:15, right?
Yeah, I'm Central Time. So you
So
said you
you're
could be there tomorrow at
from
noon?
1 to 2:30 we will be there.
I'd
But
be
we are
available.
meeting at 1, so maybe at 2 would be perfect.
Yeah, I'd be free if you want to reach out to me.
Oh my God, thank you so much. I will text you then. I will tell you, okay, call me soon.
You got it.
Thank you,
If
Sean.
he's
You
all
are
about,
amazing.
if he's all about having fun and Jay Nelson personality, he may not want to stop to do a third person in the dialogues. I almost would hold that off to a scheduled meeting when you're going to have his
Gotcha.
attention.
Okay, maybe you're right because I tried. I did it once, maybe half a year ago. I just put him with Jay. I did not ask his permission. And then it was okay. But it was all right. Both of them, hyper. So it was but Jay prefers to talk when people see presentation, and I cannot put him still to watch a presentation yet.
Gotcha. Okay, well, let me know tomorrow if we can, if I can help you, let me know. Okay.
I have another suggestion.
Yes, ma'am, Nikki. Go ahead.
Because everybody is supposed to have like socials and stuff like that. I would find out what his interests are and see if you can try to build a relationship off of one of those.
Ex throw-in, he invited me to one. Unfortunately, I was out of town. Some cars driving, some wild guy stuff. Awesome sports, big family, all about fun and making money.
Svetlana,
Great personality.
what is he meeting? What is his expectation in the meeting tomorrow? Like, how exactly did you set it up with what the I heard you say you wanted to meet face to face, eyeball, but what is his expectation of this meeting that you are going to be doing?
Well, we are talking about EXP every time we talk. We don't talk too often, maybe every couple months. And it always goes back to EXP. So he is thinking about it. But we never met in person. We like each other's personalities. We did a good deal together a year ago. In December, we closed. since then we have not met. So because he's always busy. Now he wants to meet. He said he wants to see body language. He wants to see how trustworthy I am. So pretty much to know me and how I breathe and live by EXP, I would say. And then of course to know more about EXP, I would assume.
So if it were me, if it were me, what I would go in tomorrow trying to do is just build rapport and ask a lot of questions. I would probably not even try to get into the 9-minute video. If he is bringing it up and asking a lot of questions, I would say, you know what? I definitely want to get the information in front of you, like we've talked about already in the past. But today I just really wanted to get to know you. I wanted you to get to know me, you know, as you had said.
I like it. I like
And,
it.
and you know, like, look, I respect you too much as a business person, and you are too good of an agent for me just to give you little pieces here and there. Like, I will not be doing it justice doing that. And so, you know, and again, just build that rapport, ask a lot of questions about him and his business and what he's trying to accomplish over the next 3 to 5 years. And then near the end of it, or if he keeps pushing, I would just say, look, I would love to get back together, or I'd love to jump on Zoom, whichever you want to do, or whatever he wants to do. And let me lay it all out for you properly. I don't want to just get together tonight. You know, right now, tonight, it was about like, get to know each other. And I would personally try to go that route. Because if you start dripping just little pieces along the night, then he's going to walk out of there and think he knows it all, which he's probably not going to, you know but a third of it, you know, if you're not really able to present it all.
Take stress out of me because he has short, you know, a deficit of kind of patience. So if I'm not delivered the value in a short period of time, I waste the moment. So I really like your way. I rather to build relationship and then later for him to, you know, to present all of it
Now,
through the video of somebody.
Now, let me just say this on the flip side of it. If he's coming in expecting you to show something,
Yeah,
then
then I
100%
will.
I'd go, you know, with what Tim
Yeah.
said. That's why I said, how did
Yep.
you set this meeting up? Like, what's his expectation walking into it? It almost sounds like he's just wanting to meet you. You've been talking about this, you know, every time you talk, but he's just really kind of wanting to get to know you and maybe chit
Probably.
chat about EXP, but you know, unless his expectation is you're going to show it all to him, like a bar is not the ideal place, obviously. Like you said, it's very
Yeah.
loud, all those things that go along with it. And I would just edify him as a professional and just say, you know, look, I really just wanted to get to know you. I know you're a lot of fun. I wanted to hang out with you too and just get to know you better, blah, blah, blah. And then just try to flip it to an actual business type meeting next time, or get him on a Zoom.
Awesome. Love it. Shall I bring my laptop even in a bar or not at all?
I would bring it just in case. I mean, if he's expecting something, like, you don't want to not be prepared.
Gotcha. Thank you guys. You're amazing. You prepared me. I'm a little bit not certain about this presentation, so I appreciate your help.
And guys, you can chime in differently if you think that's different. I think you ought to go in prepared, but I would try to, again, all the things I just said, and then try to schedule a more quote unquote, you know, quick business meeting, maybe having a Sean on there for that, or a Jay, or, you know, somebody, if he can relate to Jay's personality. You know,
sometimes it's hard to catch him back. He's always busy, either with kid schedule, business and stuff like that. So that's kind of like, or he's saying that he is hard to catch, you know, because if he will promise, I believe he will do it.
Well, then you don't want to waste the opportunity.
Exactly.
Either, obviously.
Yeah.
So you want to maximize the best you can.
That's right. Thank you, Cassie. You're awesome, guys.
Have a few stories ready, Svetlana. Like Sean said, I think just off of EXP Life.
Yeah.
You know, kind of look through that tonight. Find a few key stories that you could just, because you could just pull those up on your phone. A few people that have gone over 100%. Just that's his big hang up, is the 100%. Just have a few of those ready, and it'll get him set up for the next presentation. Yeah, I think that's what it could lead to. Just show them like, no, I'm going to show you. Well, that's impossible. That's impossible. You guys can't stay in business if they're making over 100%. No, we're doing it all over. Lots of people over 100%. Let me show you a couple quick stories here. And when you're leaving, let's set up the next time.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're at a bar, load them up with drinks. You know, at the end of it, just get out the application and no, I'm just kidding.
Right.
And Jeff, what, I mean, you can share, I'll share my story and you could just say, look, I know you're concerned because you're 100%, but one of my business partners, Kathy, she came from a 100% company and I was just actually talking to her and, she was sharing that if she hadn't made the switch to EXP, she literally would be losing, 6 figures plus a year by staying at the 100% brokerage she was at. And
Love
so, same with Jeff, like Jeff, you came from 100%, like, throw out a line or two she can use about your story.
And I've had people ask me, why would you go from paying 21,000 a year at Keller Williams to, 100% company? It was basically it was $300 a transaction fee and $50 a month. Now it was still cost me 9-10 grand a year to be there with all the deals we were doing. Why would you go from that back to paying 16,000 a year? Because I get my 16,000 back every year, plus a whole lot more. I've been so far over 100% every year that I've been here.
Yeah.
Between the stock and then not just stock, but and then with the revenue share, you don't want to get it too far into the revenue share. That just creates all kinds of confusion and recruiting and all these other issues now that come up. You want to get into a presentation, but just show them that there's lots of people going way over 100% here. And we'll show you how. Next time we get together, let's meet on a Zoom and we'll go through all the details of how that could work for you. But with your production, you could be way over 100%.
Way over. You build his curiosity so that you can then get him in front of it, where you're telling him enough, like they're saying, now you got him super curious. Okay, like tell me, I got to know.
Yeah. And he actually understands a little bit of the leverage because he used to be insurance agent. So he understands teamwork and building team, stuff like that.
Lots
So
of
thank you guys.
Lots of
You're
drinks,
awesome.
I'm telling you.
Oh, I'm
Very good.
excited.
Well, that led to all kinds of discussion. Let's go with something else. Anybody got anything?
Let me
Any
have
other-
one other closing thought, if I may.
Yeah.
Don't ever talk about rev share unless you know they are interested in recruiting.
Yeah.
We're all here for rev share tonight, but you cannot assume any recruit is going to be as interested in it as we are. So
Yes,
you've got to
yes.
talk about you're 100% at EXP too, because I think you're an icon, and that what that means is you're going to get your entire cap back, but you're going to get potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stock over the years as well. That puts you well over 100%. And you came from insurance. If you're into building an organization, that's a whole nother stratosphere conversation for another day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. I love your confidence, guys. Love it. I need to practice, talk more often to people. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome. All right. Somebody else? Anyone?
Hey, Sean, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
How long have you been with EXP?
4 years and 8 months now.
4 years, 8 months. Okay, almost 5.
Yeah.
What would you say? What would you consider your main differentiator that made you strong in attracting or recruiting agents to EXP?
Kind of twofold. I'd say one, my back was against the wall. I had to make something happen. But number two, kind of like Rob that jumped on here, I was in direct sales for about 12 years right before this. So I'd had some experience in attracting, recruiting, sponsoring, whatever you want to call it. So I took some of that same skill set and brought it into this. So I wasn't scared to pick up the phone and start making phone calls for one. And it was a numbers game, back 4.5 years ago, for those that weren't here, EXP was EX who. No one who knew who who knew who we were. We were a penny stock. So it was, believe it or not, it was more difficult to market it back then than it is today. But if you play the numbers out and just make enough calls and show enough people, it starts to work.
Okay, so I know Eric always talks about making a list. LinkedIn is a good source for searching people. Would you consider LinkedIn, or is there a better way of like finding people? I mean,
yeah, great question, Emmanuel. For those, and Rob, you can do this same thing. For those that don't know, Rob, that's up there at the that's in here, he's the top of my screen. Came from also a direct sales background, being at XP about a year. He's about to dive into the rev share. Emmanuel, when I got started, I knew about 12 people that were agents. Once I went through those 12, since I was new, I hadn't been involved in networking events, and I wasn't doing a bunch of transactions to begin with. but I just immediately started thinking about who I knew. And I went, wait a second, I had a couple thousand names in my phone. I started texting, starting in my A's, I would text about 20 people a day, asking who they knew in their local area that was a real good quality agent. And I was getting 15 to 20 agent names a day. And so within a matter of a month, I had a couple hundred names right out of the gate. And then now I would call that person, drop the other person's name. At least now we had something in common, and that would start my conversation.
Yeah. We want to see number
And on, everything else we talk about, which comes with experience. When you start making a bunch of phone calls to people, everyone's personalities are different, right? You'll get hold of that person who's going to sit and chit chat with you for 5 minutes before they even wonder what you're calling about. There's a person who within the first 10 seconds going, so how may I help you? And you got to get to the point. So all I can tell you is by doing numbers, going through numbers of people, you eventually get better and better on the phone. But to begin with, Emmanuel, you've got to have a phone full of, I'm assuming, a bunch of contacts of people right? Emmanuel?
Yeah, I do. It's just, I just need to fine tune that list of people. On another way of looking at it, I like I said, I'm brand new to EXP, so I'm processing everything I'm seeing the last couple of weeks. I've attended these Zooms. The one thing that I was thinking of doing, it creates like an etiquette or issue with me, and that's trying to recruit from my previous brokerage. I don't know if that's a good idea.
I personally think it's a great idea, especially if you had relationships with that other brokerage and now you know what this model is compared to that model.
Right.
If I ask you right now, completely understanding this coming from where you came from, do you see all the advantages here compared to your old brokerage and what it could do for your agents?
Absolutely. It's just a matter of having them believe. And that's the thing. I mean, we can discuss this and we could discuss that, but in the end, it's how we make them perceive EXP, because it's all about perception, in my opinion. Because when you implant the idea correctly into that person's mind, that is the differentiator that will make him say yes or no. Because if you plant the seed correctly, he's gonna go.
What I would say, and I'd be curious you guys' feedback. If I left a brokerage, how many agents were at that brokerage?
Oh, right now, I would have to do some research into that, but I know for a fact between both brokerages, here's what I like when I say both. This brokerage was like a family-owned brokerage, and the son left and started his own, and the father stayed with his. So between both, I would say there's well over 100 agents at this company, well over.
So my thought would be whoever you have the best relationships with, right? Whether or not that's 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know how many agents you know over there, but whoever you have the best relationship with, and it's simply a simple phone call to them. Call them on the phone. They know that you left, right?
Yeah.
I'm calling you back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to be very open with you. Said, hey, Emmanuel, man, I wanted to catch up with you. I know, I left here, a month ago, however long you've been here, and just say, man, I wanted to give you a buzz and just tell you real quick, the main reason I came over, because I feel like I'd be doing a disservice to you. You and I have been friends for a while. But man, I looked at this brokerage when I first saw it and realized they had a way for us to be able to go well over 100%. When I took a serious look at it and saw how much more money I could make, I was completely blown away. As a friend to a friend, I just want to see if you're open, man. I know the kind of numbers that you produce on an annual basis. I think this thing could truly bless you. Would you even be open just taking a look at the model if it could potentially put more money in your pocket? You're just simply trying to feel if someone's open. There's no magic word.
Yeah.
But if I got good friends and I left that brokerage and I know this brokerage can bless them more than they're making over there, heck yeah. Again, my heart of hearts would be like, if I'm not going to call my buddy and I know they do better over here, I can't even live with that. I'd have to call them, at least let them understand there's a model that can pay them more money doing the same thing they're doing now. So you've got to get sold in your mind. Sometimes until someone's sold to the core that this brokerage truly is the best brokerage out there, maybe not for every agent, but for an agent who's producing, when I say producing, they're starting to do a cap or above. You start to get around that 3 million or above, it's pretty hard to ignore what this model could do for you in just a matter of a handful of years, right? Much with the stock and everything we got going on and being trained by the best of the best in the entire United States, not just the best in your office. So you need to get sold to the core. My thought would reach out to your top 4, 5, 6 agent closest friends over there that you know aren't going to go necessarily rat you out to the broker so that, you know, all of a sudden you're getting a phone call from the broker. But do you have some good friends over there that you could reach out to?
I probably could, but I think they're so loyal to the owner brokers that they would probably say, oh, you know, Manny started talking to me about joining EXP. As a matter of fact, one of the broker owners sent me a text asking me if I would be willing to go to his brokerage and he'd waive the monthly fee for a whole year. I think he caught on to the fact that I can make money recruiting agents, and I could probably create some problems for his brokerage. That's just my opinion. Now I may be looking too far ahead into that, but
Are they a transaction fee only, 100% brokerage? Or they
yeah. Technically not 100%. A flat fee on the transaction fee, $225. Everything else you keep.
Gotcha.
Can I
Okay.
ask, Manny, have you thought, have the brokers, has anybody shown the brokers? Have you thought about showing the brokers and talking to the brokers?
Well, I mean, I know them on a personal level. I can't say I've been to their house. I don't know them that way,
Right.
but from having so many training meetings and meeting them in person, the broker owners themselves, I mean, it could be worth a try, but I just only because I know them and I know their personalities, they would never bite at the hook. I
But
really mean that.
you don't know that though. I mean, seriously, they're coming over here. You know, I had a guy, in fact, I did an interview with him. We put it on Facebook about right before Thanksgiving, 2 weeks ago. And he owned a brokerage here in Colorado Springs where I'm at. And he looked at it, and for a year, he tried to talk himself out of it. He tried to figure out why not to do it. And finally, after a year, he couldn't do it. And he came over and brought, you know, all 9 agents with him, small brokerage, nothing like what you're talking about. But that
this is a
happens,
big
that
brokerage.
happens
They
a
have
lot,
of agents. Yeah.
you know?
It may be small, but they have a lot of agents. That's the thing. They may be a small brokerage, but they have, between the dad who has one brokerage and the son who has another brokerage, you know, they have a lot of agents in their brokerage firm.
I mean, look at, you know, you got Chuck Fazio out there in Arizona, you know, the 900 agents that came over with him. I mean,
Wow.
now, I guarantee there are people thinking Chuck will never do this. Chuck will never do this. Chuck will never do this. So they didn't show Chuck. Somebody, you know, got the nerve to show Chuck, and Chuck made the move. That'll change your life. You get something like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, I agree.
So it's not, it doesn't hurt to, you know, think about how to approach that. And we could help you with that, you know, but it's something to think about. You could start. Now, let me say here, and I don't know, how long were you there at that brokerage?
Oh, almost 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of production did you do over there? I mean, are you doing, you know,
Well,
you know,
I
doing 30 deals a year? What kind of, what are you doing?
I was not a top producer.
That's okay.
I was not a top producer. I probably, you know, I got about 4 or 5 deals before hopping over to EXP.
Okay.
I was having a hard time, and you know, I mean, I didn't come here to, you know, open up my my whole, you know, situation of how I've been as a realtor.
Sure.
But you know,
Yeah.
I was at a vulnerable point when you know, my team leader here at EXP reached out to me, and I was very open in discussing anything.
Right.
You know, when I met with Sean, everything just, you know, it just seemed like it was the right fit for me.
Sure.
Because my realtor.com zip code, my lead generation source, I got an email saying it was going to be discontinued. And that's where most of my business was coming from, you
Right.
know, and, you know, it is a tough market right now. Not a lot of sellers.
Yeah,
a lot
no,
of
and
buyers.
please hear me, like there's no right or wrong answer to that in terms of what you've done over there. The only reason I was asking how long you've been there and like where are you, you know, here's something just to think about, like in the sense of like if you could get into with one of the, you know, say one of the top producers that's over there, you know, and they see this and they get this and they make the move, I'm telling you, if a few people start moving like that, you definitely get the broker's attention, you know, and more, you know, because here's the thing, what I believe, and I really do, I think that all those 100 to however many agents are over there, sometime over the next year or two, they're going to see EXP from somebody, whether it's you or somebody else. Somebody's going to show them. They're going to look. And I think even for the brokers to just, you know, understand that and hear that, you know, in a good way. I mean, I think it's just, you know, I had a guy move over here. It's been a couple of years ago now, but you know, his dad owns a Remax brokerage here in town, and you know, he'd been there for 16 years. The plan was he's going to take over that office someday. And he looked at this. It took him a year, but he finally was like, "Dad, we can't compete with this. There's no way." And he ended up making the move over here. Now that did not go well between dad and son, but the son's here now, and you know, and they just continue to come. You know, it's just a better model. It's a better fit. It's more money for the agents. You know how it works. I mean, it's what EXP is and what it does, but it's not about, you know, going in and, you know, just taking over a brokerage. But
one of the things that I really like, the thing that really impresses me a lot is the fact that when you do have enough passive income from your recruiting side of the business, you can actually will it to either, you know, your spouse or your son or daughter, providing they have a real estate agent license. I mean, that to me, that is a big differentiator, in my opinion, on when I do start talking to more people about EXP and what it can offer. That right there is amazing.
Sure. There's lots of stories to tell. I mean, I think, you know, for just so you guys understand that, like for a broker owner to make the move over here, you know, some of the advantages, Nathan asked this question, I think, you know, can definitely apply here in the sense of just for a broker owner to make a move, an independent broker owner, for them to come over here, number one, they keep their brand. That's one of the biggest things. That's one of the biggest challenges is they feel like they've built this brand and this, you know, they built it for 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, whatever. They don't want to lose that brand. They're, you know, everybody in town knows who they are, you know, whatever, a lot of times. And so the nice thing about EXP, they don't lose the brand. They don't lose their logos, their colors, their signs. None of that stuff changes. It's still, you know, what ABC Realty, you know, whatever, now brokered by EXP, you know. So now, and all those, you talk to the brokers and I think they genuinely do, most of them, well, 90% of them, they do care about their agents and they want what's best for their agents. And they feel like they're offering a great program for their agents. And a lot of them are, you know, but now their agents can come into EXP and their agents get all the benefits of EXP in addition to what that brokerage is doing. They can still do their own trainings and have their own systems and different things, but now they all get KV Core. They all get stock bonuses and ownership. They all have the opportunity to do revenue share, all that kind of stuff. One of the biggest things for the broker owners is that their liability goes away. They can sleep better at night. Because with 100 agents, I guarantee you they're in mediation several times a year. They're getting complaints and they're getting things that they're having to deal with. There's probably been lawsuits over the years. There'll be more. That's part of just being a broker owner. And that all goes away now and it goes up to EXP. And that's such an advantage for these independent broker owners if they can wrap their head around that. You know, and then they really do see here's what now, and then all their agents get all the training and all that kind of stuff that goes along with this. There's so many pluses for an independent brokerage to make the move over here. You know, if the independent broker can open himself up to just looking, and that's what we try and emphasize on this Just take a look and just see it. See why 1,000 agents a week are moving over here. Just take a look and see why over 200 independent brokerages have moved into EXP in the last 12 months. Just look and see it and evaluate it, and just so you can understand it, and even understand what you'll have some answers maybe for your agents if they see EXP and they've got questions, because your agents are going to see EXP from somebody. And so there's just ways to approach that. But I will tell you that if, it might not be you, but it might be you reaching out to a couple of the other agents at your brokerage, the former brokerage, who open themselves up to taking a look. And now they decide they want to make a move. If 2 or 3 of those agents come over, those brokers, the broker owners of that company, they're starting to like, hold on a minute, what's going on here? We need to take a look at this. We have a really big brokerage here in Colorado Springs that is, from what I understand, is getting ready to make the move, and it will send shockwaves in this town when it comes. I showed them 3 years ago. I'm still hoping that they join with me. We will see. I'm not sure yet. But from what I've heard, there's things going on with that, and anyway, I mean, it's just, you get in there and you plant the seed, and you never know where that'll go, what will happen with that. But
Yeah, so I've got a, Jeff, to, I guess, piggyback on that. I have a brokerage in Houston where I've called on a handful of their agents. They got about 400 agents, and 2 of them I've had really good Zooms with. One's been going on for about a year and a half, the other for about 6 months. Lo and behold, the entire brokerage is joining EXP. Now, cages got rattled. They only talked to the top producing agents. A guy that called me was doing about 3.5 million. He buzzed me, told me all about it. And he said, some people are leaving. He goes, Sean, could I even come with you if I wanted to? Do I have to stay with the broker? I mean, and they all have to make a decision by the end of December, because it's all going to happen by January 1st. So anyway, it's a brokerage in Houston. I say that to go, similar scenario. He's inside of this big brokerage, and he asked me the same thing. He goes, if I came over, Sean, I know some of the other agents right now, they're not sure what they're going to do, but if I came over to you, could I bring them on board with me? I'm like, it's wide open, but all I'm saying is here's a brokerage that's 400 agents in Houston. Here I have been nibbling at some of those agents, and bloop, I never knew who the broker was, never even really asked to go to the top brokerage. Lo and behold, the entire brokerage is coming over to EXP. Now, maybe only 200 agents come with the broker, but that's a kind of something maybe I could say, listening to Jeff. Sometimes after I meet a few agents in there, I probably need to be asking about, how well do you know the broker? Could we get this in front of the broker? But that was such a big brokerage. I wasn't going that angle like, oh my gosh, now they're joining EXP.
Yeah, this company here, this company had a consultant come in and going over all their finances and all this stuff, and then looking through all of it. And they were like, how can we be more profitable? How can we be more profitable? And he just said, you can keep bringing on more and more agents, but you cannot be any more profitable than what you are right now. Here's what you need to do. And the consultant told them, you need to move your entire brokerage to EXP. That's what will make you more profitable. And so that this is all in the works. And, I don't know where this is all going to go, but I've heard Glenn's flying into town. There's all kinds of things going on with this. It's a big, big deal if this happens, but we'll see. I don't know. But the seed gets planted. Tim, I know, did you want to add anything? I know at one point you had your mic off and I was just babbling away over there. Do you have anything you want to throw out with this?
Yeah, Manny, my best advice is stop making excuses of why they won't come and pick up the phone. Because one of us on this call or somebody at EXP is going to start calling their agents, and you're going to be pissed off that you didn't pick up the phone. It's happened to every one of us that's been doing that for a while.
Totally. It happens.
Your whole goal, man, is just to get them to take a look, not to join EXP, to take a look. If they take a look, remember, once you see it, they can't unsee it. That's your whole goal. Create that curiosity. There's a brokerage now that pays you 3 ways instead of 1, and they can help you go over 100%. I'd love to just share it with you and let you at least understand why 1,000 agents a week are coming on board. Can we set up a Zoom in the next week or 2? Just start making calls. There's going to be plenty of people go, you know what? I will take a look at that, because they're starting to hear about EXP more and more and more. They're seeing signs. They're on social media, and you're just finally catching them at the time that they're a little bit, here's the end of the year. They're getting ready to just plan for their next year. They're trying to increase volume, whatever it is. There's agents that are a little frustrated with either their current production and where they're trying to go, or they're a little bit frustrated with their current brokerage. You just need to be calling and seeing who's open to take a look. And now's the perfect time. Agents make a move. This last quarter is when most agents move, October, November, December. So Manny, now's a great time, dude, to reach out to some of those agents.
Sure thing. You said 3. I know what the 2 are. I mean, obviously, selling houses, recruiting. What would be the 3rd?
Equity, the moment you sell your first house, you get equity in our company, right? And then every transaction, you can take up to 5%.
Stocks.
Yeah,
Stock.
stock.
Yes.
5 different ways. But I'm saying, without you going into detail, if there's just one little thing of creating curiosity, the reason I took a look at the model is this model pays you 3 different ways instead of just one, and they help agents go up over 100%. If you haven't seen the model, you should take a look at it, at least to understand why 1,000 agents a week are making the move. Can we set up a Zoom or grab coffee one day? Just start asking. Your whole goal is to start showing people. You got to fill up the funnel. If everybody on here is reaching out to 1 or 2 agents a week, and at the end of the month, the month you've shown it to 4, 6, 7, 8 agents, you're going to be beating your head against the wall, thinking about those agents nonstop. Whereas if you start talking to 2, 3, 4 agents a day, you fill the funnel up at the end of the month, you've talked to 50 agents, you're not so worried about the 1 or 2, but you got to get some volume involved so you don't beat your head against that, against the wall on the 1 or 2 agents, if that's all you're showing. That's the biggest thing.
I agree.
For those that are just starting to do this, just get in the habit of starting to talk to a lot of agents, get the info in front of a bunch, fill that pipeline.
Yeah, I remember when I was doing fire alarm service agreement sales. One of the sales guys there, he was telling me about the 10-to-1 sales funnel, where he was telling me you go out every day and you visit 10 customers. Out of those 10 customers, maybe 3 may bite, but 1 is going to do it.
Yeah.
So it's like you said, it's a numbers game.
It's a numbers game. That's all this is. Same thing.
Same thing here.
Yeah.
But you'd be surprised. Our ratio will probably be better than that, especially after you get a little bit better at it. You'll probably be batting 1 out of 4, maybe 1 out of 5, get good at it. 1 out of 3, like Tim, maybe 1 out of 2, like Jeff.
The more you do it, Manny, the easier it gets, the more confidence you get, all that stuff. And that comes across in your voice and your tone and the phone calls, like just everything. It's just like anything, you just get better and better the more you do it. And that's why we always emphasize, if you can talk to a couple, 2, 3 people a day, you're just going to do better than if you hold it all till Friday and try and make 10 calls. Like every Friday, it's like, oh my God, the phone weighs a ton. And it's just, you're starting over. Those first 4 or 5 calls are just rusty. Whereas if you do it every day and get consistent, now you just do it in your sleep, and it just gets easier and easier. And people can hear that. They hear that. The consistency with this is so key. I can't emphasize that enough. How long you been here at EXP, man?
Oh, I joined in November, early November. November
Okay.
3 was my starting date.
Very cool. Well, welcome aboard. Seriously.
Thanks.
Big things are coming. So yeah, just
Yeah,
don't be afraid to hesitate. Don't hesitate to reach out to some of those agents over there, the ones that you know. And then Sean's thing, going through your phone, LinkedIn, that can work. I wouldn't start on LinkedIn necessarily. You can start making connections on LinkedIn, but I wouldn't start right away just reaching out cold calls through LinkedIn and stuff. There's ways to do that, I think, eventually, but start with some of the ones and some of the people that and asking them for, hey, who do you know a good realtor in your area? I'm looking for a good realtor to partner up in your area. It could be across the country. It doesn't matter where they are.
Right.
But now you call them and that turns into a warm call. Hey, I got your number from Joe and you sold his house. Oh yeah, I remember Joe. And now you're having this conversation, and there's ways to just kind of open those doors to getting people to look, So stuff that we've talked about on here.
Good stuff.
Thanks.
Hopefully that helped, man.
Thanks for the insight, guys. I appreciate it.
You bet. Somebody else? What's up?
I got something with us being recognized. So I called one person like, hi, my name is Nathan with EXP. You're like, no, I like where I am. So that was literally the first thing out of their mouth.
So don't say I'm Nathan with EXP. I don't say on my phone calls, hi, this is Jeff Morale. I'm a realtor here in town.
Okay.
Because I went through the same thing. Like, oh, wait, you're trying to recruit me? It just like immediately a couple of those. I'm like, okay. So now I just don't say that. I don't know. Tim,
At least not in the first 30 seconds.
I usually say, hey, yeah, this is Jeff Morale. I'm a realtor here in town. And then I go into the thing, and then now we start creating some rapport. What were you going to say, Tim?
I was just going to say, what was your question, Nathan?
Oh, I mean, how I deal with that? Because if he said, are you trying to recruit me? I'd have been like, yeah, do you want to make more money doing what you're doing now? But didn't get that far. So should I follow up with somebody like that down the road, or just let them go and move on to the next one?
First of all, the way I would handle that is, I'm not calling to recruit you. I'm glad you're happy where you are though. That's awesome. Let me ask you though, just out of curiosity, has anyone shown you the 2021 EXP presentation and personalize it for your level of volume? I'm not trying to get you to move. I'm just curious, have you seen it? Because most agents that have seen it and see how they can get paid 3 ways instead of 1 end up joining. And since you're not here yet, you probably haven't seen it. Am I right? I mean, you play with the personality. You can be more direct. You can say, yeah, I'm trying to recruit you, like you were saying, if you've got that kind of personality on the phone, but don't let that turn off your pitch.
Okay.
You're calling to invite them to ask if they've seen it. You're not calling to recruit them. So when they say, oh, you're with EXP, you're trying to recruit me, you're the 10th person this week. No, I'm not trying to recruit you. But kudos to you, man. You're apparently an awesome agent if you've had that many calls this week.
Mhm.
And when they say, yeah, I've seen it, then the next question is, well, how far over 100% was the person that showed it to you able to get you? And they're going to go, duh, what do you mean?
That's good.
Because they didn't really see it. So have some fun with it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. You guys are going to continue to come across more people, whatever time you finally bring up EXP, whether it's close to the beginning or mid into the call. Remember, anytime somebody says, oh yeah, I'm familiar with it, and say, oh, so great. So you've had a chance to look at the model, and they say, yeah, so you saw the 2021 EXP presentation. If they say they've seen it, go back to what Tim said, because I've been saying that forever and no one's ever said yes afterwards. I said, awesome. So once you saw the presentation, they sat down with you afterwards, how much higher above 100% were you able to go? And like Tim said, they're always like, what do you mean? So they didn't personalize the model and show you how to go over 100%? Well, I don't think so. I said, well, why don't you and I set up a Zoom? Let me at least be the one who personalized the model for you so you understand what it could really do for you if you ever decided to call this home one day. You have any time in the next week or two, you and I could jump on a Zoom? Everything is trying to set the appointment, and all you're trying to do is learn enough to create curiosity to have them to take a look at the model. Why are 1,000 other agents joining every week? It's just simply trying to get people to look. So some of you guys that keep worrying about trying to recruit them and trying to get them to join, that's not your goal. Your goal is to get them to see a presentation and then let us personalize the model. Okay. And if you don't know how to personalize and you're listening to that for the first time, you can show it and then be more than happy to bring myself on or somebody else that you might know here that's in your organization, and we can help personalize the model for you. Okay. Until you guys learn how to do it. But
Or
anyway,
you
great
can watch
question.
last week's recording where we taught how to do that.
Yes. Yep. So good stuff, guys. What else? We got a few more minutes here. Anybody else have something?
I have a question, Sean. This is Brittany Zappitz.
Yes, ma'am.
Does anybody on the call use CRM Grow? Today I heard that you can invite people in to join your team to where if they've built out campaigns, then we can kind of share our campaigns so we're all not starting from scratch.
Great question. I use CRM Grow, and I think some of us are now. Jeff, Tim, are you guys starting to use it? Okay, well, that's a great point right there, Brittany. And I don't know about Tim as Mr. System Driven. He's got a lot of stuff he has shared with all of us right now. A lot of us are using some of his spreadsheets, but in regards to creating different things to follow up with other than what's already in there, there's already like 20 to 25 presentations in there, right? You've seen all those, Brittany, or have you been in CRM Grow yet?
I've seen those, but it seems like if we join the team, like, then if they've created automated
Yes.
like systems and structures, then we can kind of feed off of that and make it a little bit less to where I'm not starting from scratch from a brand new CRM.
That is awesome to think about. We haven't taken to that point. May I ask you, Tim, have you in CRM Grow, have you started to utilize some of your own follow-up emails, follow-up videos? Because then it's leading me over to you also, Jeff, with you, what you're doing now with these interviews and these 1 minute, 30-second snippets. Because I immediately thought when you were doing that, I'm like, oh my gosh, you could put that into CRM Grow and have that be part of your drip campaign via text and emails. So great thing to bring up, Brittany. Tim, Jeff, you guys have any input on that? Are you already doing some stuff like that, Tim?
I'm not yet. I'm still beta testing a lot of the word is materials. That's the phrase of what they call all the documents, the videos, and so forth in CRM Grow. I don't know if you heard it on today's call, Brittany, but Sean said if you, or maybe it was Matt that said this, if you go into Teams and you can click on Join Team, and when Join Team comes up, just type in icon, ICON, and that'll request for the icon coaching agent attraction materials be added to your CRM. I did that today. Now those have not yet been loaded, but that's the first team you can join and get all of Sean's materials. Now I say that you're going to want to read through all those and make sure that they're not talking about his branded group, which he calls, I can't think of it, Libertas, I think is what it is. Make sure there's not a reference to Libertas Group, which is his organization. And I would say, you know, once whoever ends up spearheading that in this group, I don't see why that couldn't be shared amongst, you know, the people, you know, that meet every Monday night.
What is that? Because I've been in some of his coaching as well. What was that you go to in CRM Grow? Because I've been using CRM Grow for about 4 months now.
So I don't want to cut you off, Tim, but so once you go under teams, every person can have a team. You can have one team yourself, but then you can join an unlimited amount of teams to then be kind of synced to their data.
Right.
So I don't necessarily want to use Sean's data, but I also want to probably copy it onto my own team. And just not knowing like where the touch points on the drip campaigns, or maybe someone that's used CRM Grow longer. You know, if they don't watch the first 9-minute video, then it'll send them to a default this way. So it's the chain of the automation. I don't want to start from scratch of figuring that out. If I can join someone's team and kind of at least see the board, then I can create my own templates.
Yeah, well, R&D, rip off and duplicate. What I told you a minute ago
Agreed.
is we're saying the same thing. Join his team, and if there's a reference to Libertas, clone it and put your own name on it. If there isn't, then just use it. I mean, if he can give you 20 videos that are already working in his organization, why wouldn't you want to steal those and use them in your own?
So I guess the main question I had was if anyone else has started a team that we can all join.
No, but I would like to. As I hear you, I'm only using it simply as a follow-up system myself. I have not added any more material. I'm using it as a CRM for me to take notes and to have a follow-up date and when I'm going to be calling on them. And I continue to take notes every time I have a phone call or a Zoom with them. So I'm using it as that. I have not really taken advantage of any kind of drip campaigns or anything like that. But I do love that idea and didn't even realize that until you said it. That makes common sense. So if I can follow back up with that, Tim, once you're inside the CRM system, you go to Teams. What do you go to go see where I can find Kokoska's drip campaigns?
You click on Teams on the left side of the screen, and then on the far right-hand corner, there's a button called Join Team.
Okay.
That pops up a dialog box where you'll type in icon, and that'll pop up Sean's icon agent attraction group. That's not exactly what it's called, but then click on request, and that'll request that you are able to join his team, which only means you have access to all his materials now.
Gotcha. Okay.
Doesn't mean you have to use it, but
Exactly.
like I say, you can then clone it and use it with the Freedom Team.
Yeah. That's good stuff. You know what? I will look into some of that as well, and let you guys know what I kind of come from it. Because yeah, what Tim's saying, I agree. You're just simply trying to find a template. At least somebody has started it. You can always at least have foundational templates that you can tweak and change.
100%, 100%.
That's very interesting. I didn't know that we could do that, and all of us could begin to start sharing some of that info. And for somebody that don't know, I don't want to steal your thunder, Jeffrey. Okay, if I share with kind of what you're doing, or can you share with the team? Because I think even though Jeff's using this, obviously it's going to help him, I think tremendously. I really do, Jeff. I think it's going to be a a snowball, and I'm getting ready to start it probably next week with the very first call with Nick's team. But share with them kind of what you're doing, and I could see how that could be taking little pieces of that and use it as a drip.
You mean like with the interviews and stuff?
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I see, like, again, Jay and some of these guys, Jay Kinder, Michael Reese, some of these guys, Jay's been awesome at it. I mean, he does, any new agent that joins, he'll do like an interview with them. And then you can, he'll go live on Facebook, and do an interview. He'll interview big agents. You can just set up like a 15-minute interview, gives you all kinds of content. And he'll do it more. It's not just EXP. A lot of times, like I'm doing one tomorrow. She's a new agent, got licensed a year ago, June of 2019. No, June of 2020 is when she started. And she hit Icon her first year, as a brand new agent. And so we're going to talk about that. And I can, the last part of it, I'll touch on EXP, and I got some questions ready for that kind of stuff. Whatever, we hear this sometimes, EXP is not good for new agents. What would you say to that? And we'll talk about some of that stuff, but then we'll be live on Facebook tomorrow morning doing that. But now we can take that and we can share it. And I could actually send that out. I'm not using CRM Grow yet the way I need to, but I could certainly email that out to everybody that I've shown EXP to. Did an interview this morning, she did 40 deals her first year, shared some great stuff, thought this might be helpful for you, have a great week. And just email that out, training from Jeff in the subject line, I could email it or something. And just like, if you become more valuable to them than even with the brokerage that they're at, because you're providing more content and stuff, it's like, eventually they're going to reach out to you. Now, of course, in there, I've got links to a couple different websites that we're using, just different things of what we're doing to try and, again, build up, our team with EXP. So I'm learning all this as I go, but I am going to be doing probably 2 interviews a week minimum. I'm actually going to do one later this week with a lender here in town. We won't even talk EXP, but, we'll just talk about, the kind of a market update on financing and mortgage and that kind of stuff. So again, providing value out there. And we'll go live on Facebook when we do it. I'm using StreamYard, which is free to do. You can go live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube all at the same time. And that's what we do. So it creates a YouTube video. It creates a Facebook Live, which you can now save. And now, if I don't like it, I can delete it, but it's just on there, and then it's also on LinkedIn at the same time. So any of those contacts in LinkedIn, they're seeing it as well.
And my thought is you could take that video of Jeff's and go, one of our team members interviews an agent who did 40 transactions her first year as an agent, learn how. But it's our team, right? So like you said, that's the same kind of thing we could all start to utilize, get that into CRM Grow, and all of a sudden, Jeff, you could have a series of different videos, new agent that does 40 transactions, whatever, 10-year veteran agent that moved over, whatever it is, these different categories, depends on who you're talking to. That could be one that we already have in there, Brittany, that you could then send. So I see what you're saying. This could be a great way for all of us to start sharing some of this info and potentially help all of us at the same time.
For sure. And again, any of you guys are obviously more than welcome to share any of those things that I do, or, take them and, go to the YouTube page and take that link, and you could share that link and send it out. I mean, whatever. Obviously I'm branding things with myself. I mean, that's what I'm doing, but yeah, I mean, obviously you take it and make it yours, however you want to do that. I mean, it's out there for anybody. So, and the lady I'm interviewing tomorrow is not on my team. I mean, whatever. And I told her, I tagged her on Facebook, and like anything she does with it, she's here in Colorado Springs, but she's not part of our group, but she's just got a great story. And again, I know it'll just be good content for new agents, content for agents been around for a couple of years. Just, there'll be things that I can share out of that. But then again, it's not just EXP, because we get accused of that sometimes. Now I'm going to bring up EXP, of course, the last 5 to 10 minutes, it'll be EXP, and she hit Icon and her stock and all that. We'll hit all that stuff in there, So I interviewed a couple weeks ago. I did one with the broker owner that just came over here, so just things I'm playing around with in addition to all this. But as you guys are talking CRM Grow, it reminds me how much I need to get in there and learn it, because I'll be honest, I haven't done a thing with it. I've been paying for it for a year, and I've done zero with CRM Grow. It's just, I need to take some time this month and really get in there and learn it. It feels very clunky to me, the back office on it. I just need to learn it. I haven't learned it, so I haven't done a thing with it, but I need to get in there. That needs to get in there. So anyway.
First of all, you guys, thank you. Thank you. Yes, it is StreamYard. Trying to see if we've answered all the questions over here. Anybody pose a question we have not addressed?
One of the things I just would want to throw out, guys, and to any of you guys that if you're not part of, on Facebook, we created a group on there, Freedom Team. And again, you can be part of that or not. You can participate in that or not. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, but just the idea that there's just a lot of people that are on Facebook, 5 and 6 times a day on here, and they go to Workplace once a week. And so we just, so many of these groups, these icon big groups, they're using Facebook way more than they are Workplace as far as a place to communicate as a team. So that Freedom Team page we created is, I mean, seriously, I'm trying to keep it like 95%, real estate stuff. So we're posting actually some really good content in there. We've done trainings. We're doing trainings every Tuesday morning. So tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock Mountain Time, where I'm at in Colorado, noon Eastern. We'll do a training tomorrow. Nicole Smith is going to train. She's hit Icon 3 times now, 3 years in a row. And she's going to be training in there, systems for success. So just strictly real estate stuff. But again, you could use that as you're reaching out to agents. Like, not only does EXP offer all this and whatever, and but every week we have our own team training, and it's very interactive in Q&A. And the more people we get on there, the better that training is, because the more questions that get asked, and it becomes that. So, but we go live on Zoom, and then I upload it to YouTube. I post it over to that page. It'll just be on there archived. Anybody can then go to it and use it. And you could use that to help promote, what you're doing as far as reaching out to agents for agent attraction. Just the more we can offer in terms of helping them build their real estate business. That's why people are coming over here, not to attract most people. Then over time they can fit that in. Some of them come over, they get that right away. Some, they've been here for a year, and all of a sudden they realize, like, wow, I need to start reaching out to some agents because I'm seeing what's going on. But so depending on where they're at as to what you want to lead with,
I will back up that what you're saying. That the lady who's training tomorrow, she's here local in Dallas. Like he said, she's an Icon agent, been in the industry about 15 years, but came over here. Her first year did 15 million, second year 18 million. In the pandemic last year, 23 million. All she does is follow systems. Doesn't have a leads, doesn't have any type of CRM system. Everything is referral and repeat business. I've heard her do the training, and it's all system driven on how she does follow up with all her past clients, everybody she meets, and all that's phenomenal. If you can't make it onto the training, go listen to the recording afterwards. She's done it. She's, I think, trained on it in the virtual campus about a year ago. But if that's the one she's doing, she got rave reviews, and a few of the people that were here local saw it and said it was phenomenal. So if you're a new agent right now trying to figure out how to get repeat referral business, she's a master at it. 23 million last year. So yeah, get on there tomorrow.
It'll be a great training. And I know, Aaron Ken, we did 2 weeks with him, and I'm telling you, he had some ideas. I mean, Aaron was top 50 Keller Williams worldwide, and he's over here. He's the first guy that I had join me. And he had some stuff in his training that I'm telling you, just gold. I mean, and it's all in there, So we're just trying to add value to that. But if you can go to, you can go to Facebook and just, you have to be friends with one of us or with somebody who's already in there, but they can invite you into that page. It's Freedom Team is what it is. And anything you guys want to post in there, just real estate tips, ideas, an article you see, something a question, whatever, the more interactive that page can be, the better. Jay Kinder in that group, Honey Badger Nation, they got like hundreds now, whatever it is. I don't know. It's thousands. It's several thousand. There's 50, 60 posts a day in that group. That's their group they're using, but they started exactly where this one started a month ago with nobody. And so we're just building it. We're, I don't know, up to 100 and something. We want to keep building that and just keep creating value in there. It just will help all of us as time goes on. So that's the idea of it. But we'll be in there tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock Mountain Time, noon Eastern, every Tuesday. Got a different agent that'll get in there and do some training. So anyway, just adding some things to it along with this right here. So
yeah, and thank you, Jeff. Jeff's a guy spearheading that. We sincerely appreciate it. I agree. We need something like that. So guys, thank you for your time tonight. Everybody come back next Monday. Eric's got some great training tips. Hope everybody has a great week. Go out and make a bunch of calls, guys. Come back with some good scenarios to throw out. Let's all continue to sharpen each other's saw. Thank you, guys. Have a great evening.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Tim.